What is going on? It's a win Roma needed. Is it the prettiest? No. Is it one where Dybala scores a hat trick and the Curva Sud explodes? No. But it is one where the captain does exactly what he needs to do, provides a moment of magic, and gets the Giallorossi over Sassuolo, who have a new manager, Davide Ballardini. And what I did think from the Nero Verdi is that they put up quite a fight. I thought they were stubborn in defense. Their counterattacks were almost dangerous. I don't know if Lauriente is the same player after that ACL tear. You think of Pinamonti, other guys that they have, and they are just, they're a level of mediocrity. And Roma across the board, of course, is much more quality. Today we saw a couple weird things. By weird, I mean De Rossi had to go back to the drawing board. It was a 4-3-3 on paper, and in reality, that's how they collapsed, it's how they played. But we saw players such as Aouar, who were not, such as Aouar, I guess it's a pointed question or a pointed statement. It is Aouar. He's the guy who plays out of position. If you had told me or you had asked me who is going to be that guy who steps in for Dybala in his absence, I would have said Baldanzi. So I was a little surprised to see De Rossi go with the Frenchman on this occasion. Now, in the last press conference we covered, we did mention how De Rossi says, he's looking to incorporate Aouar, how some more into his into the fold and get him going, get him, I guess, motivated. Because under Mourinho, we remember how Aouar was. It seemed like he was the guy that he was going to rely on. It was a free transfer, a high-quality player, I should say highly talented, and somebody who was a big prospect in French football and kind of falls out of favor at Lyon, has problems, and coming over here, we didn't know we were going to get out of him. What I saw today was, it was an attempt. Did he come in and put an 8 out of 10 performance? No, I don't think he did. But his role today was definitely more of a constructor rather than a width player. And if we take a look at today's starting 11, we're going to go in and we're going to see just kind of how they played. We'll look at the heat maps and everything as well. But looking forward, hey, we've got really just one more match until Roma play Lazio in the derby on April 7th. So we go into today's match here, and I'll make it a little bigger for you. Let's look at the stats. 10 shots, just 4 on target for the Giallorossi. For the Nero Verdi, just 2 on target, and Svilar was untested really throughout the entirety of this match. There wasn't a big goal-scoring opportunity. It does seem like without Berardi, that Sassuolo are missing a big something. It doesn't take you Albert Einstein to figure that one out. But they really don't have another type of killer. There's no X factor in their play. Let's look down here. 350 passes, a lot for Roma. Over 600. Many of them probably horizontal, and that's okay. But honestly, I'm going to double down on that statement. I think actually Roma were looking to progress the ball quite a lot. I just think that the biggest issue for me today was Lukaku not being able to muscle out the defenders. So like these center backs, right? Erlich and Ferrari, I thought they did a really good job on Lukaku and stepping to him whenever he had the ball, applying pressure. And they knew, Ballardini knows, how is Roma going to score without Dybala? They're going to go through Lukaku. He's going to be the layoff, the target center forward, and he's going to look to create from there, get a little bit of space, turn, and they really allowed him nothing. I'm going to say Lukaku had not even one shot on goal. He had one big opportunity, which went wide of the net. That was a cross, though. So, like we're talking about the quality in this Sassuolo team, let's take a look. I mean, they're not great. Defrel, he's still out there. Like I mentioned, Lauriente, he's not the same. He hasn't scored in like 30-something matches now. Enrique is probably their best, most important player. Pedro Obiang is still out in Serie A. He was at Sampdoria years ago. Racic, okay, VT, Pedersen, and Consigli in net. One name which I found interesting, though, was Cragno. Cragno was a big keeper a few years ago at Cagliari. And this is a keeper that even many want in Rome. But in fact, look at where he is. He's on the bench for Sassuolo. That is not something that I saw coming from his career. Also, some notable names here. Kumbula, yes, Mizori, ex-Roma player, former Primavera product. And also Volpato with him. Bairami came over from Empoli. I thought he was going to have more of an impact thus far in his career. He must be about 25 now. Yeah, 25 years old. And where is he? Oh, he's a Swiss player. I always forget. I always think he's Romanian. But actually his last name is Albanian. and it's the J that throws me off. Anyway, yeah, Swiss player. I think he's capped anyway, but I'm surprised that he's not having more of an impact. I look at the creativity in this midfield; it's really not existent. Lauriente is a true winger. Defrel is like a number 9 who tends to play on the wing, but he doesn't really have a winger skill set. He's not going to beat anybody one-on-one. He's not particularly fast. He's not particularly skillful. I guess he's got a powerful shot, can get a couple of goals, less than 10, I'm going to say, this season overall. So, but we look in Roma's starting lineup, guys, and I see the comments coming in. Keep them coming, please. And back to the way that Roma played today. Mancini, good. Llorente, though, I thought was better in the sense that, not that I'm comparing the two, but I just think that he had a more impressive performance. There was a couple plays in particular where Llorente did beat his man. Like, he just took a player one-on-one, and he's able to do that sometimes. He has like a silkiness about him, a quality which can get him past the first defender, if you will. Spinazzola, only 35 minutes or about a half hour that he gets to play in this match, and then he's pulled out for probably a hamstring injury. Angelino steps in. Karsdorp on the other side. Paredes, the deepest of the midfield here. Number 16, he has been my who's that player who's most impressive since De Rossi has come over? Because I was about to say that it's Paredes, and of course, like it's Pellegrini, right? It's Lorenzo Pellegrini, but I have to say that his play, we've seen such a different side, more impactful, another dimension to his play, that being Paredes so far under De Rossi. Drops back, plays some balls that honestly I didn't really think that he could do, but he's got a better passing range than I had imagined. Cristante here is an okay game, but Pellegrini is my man of the match for sure. Prior to his goal, I thought that he was the best performer on the pitch. So let's take a look at what's going on here, though, my friends. Okay, we've got some comments coming in. Marin is here, says the players were tired. International break comes at a good time. Baldonzi dangerous when he gets the ball. He should play more centrally. Yes, and I do want to just confirm or touch on this. This is now going into the international break. Lucky me, I'm going to be able to get to see them. Not many Roma players. I'm going to gripe about this. If you saw my short I posted yesterday or the day before, and I was commenting how this is a very light Roma-based Azzurri squad, okay? No El Shaarawy, no Spinazzola. Not that he would have gotten anyway now with this injury. No Cristante. The only one who makes it is Lorenzo. Of course, it has to be him, right? But I second this too. Roma needs the break. Baldonzi dangerous when he gets the ball. He should play more centrally. I also agree with this. There needs to, 4-3-3s, they take a number on players who are natural number 10s. In the 4-3-3, there is no true role. Well, Pellegrini is the closest you get, but I don't think Baldonzi is that type of player, because while we think of this role for Pellegrini as a number 10, he's really like an 8.5. And this is a new type of, in my opinion, you could have your thoughts on this. This is a new type of position where the center mid is not giving as much coverage as, like, let's say Cristante here, who collapses more. But Pellegrini has a little bit more liberty in his play. And instead of like one or two options, the way that a number 10 would play off of the forwards in front of him, instead he's got his left wing, his right wing, and his center forward. So Pellegrini's job under this formation is to really spread the ball out, but also get between the lines to a point, because really that is, like Morin points out here, that's more of Baldonzi's role. Can De Rossi find how to? I think that De Rossi is the type of manager who goes back to the drawing board, one who wants to get his players playing in their best roles. But let's see, because I do think that the key to unlocking the Baldonzi of Roma will be getting him to be more in the middle. Joe, not happy with Lukaku's performance today, says he looks disinterested. What's going on with Lukaku, guys? This is an open question here. Is he tired? Is he out of shape? Is he fatigued? Is there something maybe we don't know about? I'm not completely sure in any of those. I got to say he's probably a little bit fatigued at this point. He doesn't look exceptionally fit. He's just not. Like, this is not a guy who looks like he's 24 years old. He looks like his age, and he's thicker now. Metabolically, he's just grown. I don't think it's that he's not running enough or anything like that. I just think that his he's just getting older, and that's the shape of his body now. Maybe I'm full of nonsense, but that's my presumption at least. Okay. I'm just looking to see if real quick if Lukaku spoke after the match, but it looks like the only one to comment was Derossi so far. But I'm gonna just do a double check right here. By the way, I want to throw this in there. I think that Inter Milan losing to Atletico, I was thinking about this, just a little detour for a second. I think that's a real disservice to all of us because I think Inter were probably one of the best, if not the second best teams in this tournament. And them being out after having just a really bad game, I think football lost with them being excluded from this. So it becomes another year of Atletico going far, Simeone's antics, and I got to see his face yelling and his nastiness again and his whatever, right? But I think that Inter should have been in the final again. I would have liked to have seen them. Darn. Anyway, but I'm sure that many of you who are listening to this just don't care what's going on with Inter. But I have a few friends, especially like one of my closest friends. He's a big Inter fan, so it's not that I root for them. It's just that I thought they were the best, one of the best teams in the tournament, and now we don't get to see them. Anyway, Abraham returns to the squad. It was very nice to see his jersey up in the rafters prior to this match. Vincent says Pellegrini too good. I'm really looking forward to seeing him play next Sunday against. Let me get that off the screen real quick and back to our starting formation. I'm going to get to see him play against Ecuador. He better start, man. If Spalletti does not start Pellegrini or give him some minutes, I'm going to be real upset. But I'll be making a video from there for sure. Maybe doing a little collab with Urban Pitch. We'll see. Makes for a good Sunday Roma win. What's up, Germanicus? So if you're tuning in right now, we're just trying to find out what's going on with Lukaku. Okay. Anyway, let's look at the press conference. A couple comments from him as well, but we'll keep going through this. By the way, these guys showed up to the Roma-Lazio U15 match where the Primavera, the U15 team won 4-0 over Lazio. Good stuff there. Very nice. I just want to scroll down here to this banner too. This was from the Curva Sud. Derossi, player, captain, manager. This love will never end from the Curva Sud. This was pretty cool. I like this one a lot. Very nice banner. Not political, not mocking the queen like we saw against Brighton. Just supporting the boss. Not more, again, nothing more for any other managers. Completely focused on Derossi, and I like this from the Curva Sud. Let's keep going, though, with our comments coming in. Joe says, our Cristante Karstorp should never play on the right side at the same time. Zero ball movement, zero space. Do you think, Joe, that's due to speed? Do you guys think that is because there's just not enough athleticism on the right there? I mean, Karstorp had a pretty athletic match today. He was up and down. He didn't, I forget if that cross into Lukaku was from him or Angelino, but I think we know what we're getting with those three. Germanicus, Pellegrini has stepped up. Someone has to do Lukaku's job. And how is Mancini playing for the national team? This I don't understand, Joe. Because let's take a look, actually. Let's go to the Azzurri real quick because they've got the lineups here. By the way, Joe Barone, vice president, who I actually know from Fiorentina, taken to the hospital today. So I'm hoping he's doing okay. Defenders, though, Acerbi, Bastoni, Bellanova, Buongiorno, Cambiaso, Darmian, Di Lorenzo, Di Marco, Scalvini, and Udogie. Okay. I get it. You've got Acerbi, Bastoni, and Darmian. You got your three Inter players there. Buongiorno, yes, he probably should go from Torino. I think he's right-footed as well. Di Lorenzo, yes. Di Marco, yes. Scalvini, yeah, I guess so. I guess. Is Scalvini a difference maker at this point yet? I don't know. I'm not convinced about that. I think I would replace, and now the Inter fans could probably disagree with me here. I think I would probably get rid of Cambiaso and maybe, just maybe, Acerbi. But I could see the argument there. I just think between Scalvini, Cambiaso and Acerbi that there's room for who has been one of the most impressive center backs in Serie A this season in Gianluca Mancini. I don't know what the idea is here, but I also want to focus in on these guys. Chiesa, Luca, Orsolini, Raspadori, Retegui, Zaccagni, and Zaniolo, the two bottom guys here, my friends. Bang average, bang average. Zaccagni? Hey, Lazio's horrible this season. He hasn't done much of anything. Zaniolo barely plays for Aston Villa. Retegui, okay, he's a big boy. He does score goals when he plays internationally. I think Spalletti can do something with him. Now, what's the alternative, right? Well, I think El Shaarawy, for sure, out on the left wing. Guy has 8 assists this season. Why isn't he getting a sniff? Oh, because you know what you're going to get out of him? Nonsense. This is totally a guy you want in your team. The way that Lippi had Simone Perotta. Very similar to me. I'm not saying they're the same player or the same attributes, same type of role. A guy who gets it done. Yes, this is the X factor, but I think that in front of the net, number 9, you didn't take Scamacca. And I think that's a mistake because I think he's one of the very few on this team who can turn a game on its head. One of the few guys who have that like almost Balotelli quality. I'm not saying Balo should be in the squad. What I'm saying is every now and then you didn't think he was going to score and he would just let off a bomb from his foot and it would hit the back of the net. And you're like, oh my gosh, think of that goal that he scored. What was it in the Euros so many years ago with Cassano who passed it to him? That was a brilliant tandem. The two of them, maniacs. Just it's so funny how they were able to team up together. Is Orsolini going to play a lot? Maybe out on the right, and you have Chiesa on the left. Up top, Luca. I don't know. Luca's still raw. He's scoring a bunch of goals for Udinese. He's like basically like their only offensive outlet. But yeah, as we're going through this. Thanks, Dramaticus. Yes, guys, if you can, please hit that like button. You know what to do. Joe says he noticed Cristante is useless versus teams who sit back because he can't carry the ball up the field. Average player, Spalletti right not to call him up. He's definitely not a guy who's going to beat his player one-on-one, beat his man, have any type of trickery. He's more of like a constant. So I think this is probably a good call from Joe that when you do have a team which is sitting back the way that Sassuolo did today, this is not your guy. But with Vincent here, this is where I agree. I think Bove should have been included in the national team setup. Absolutely. I think that's a big mistake from Spalletti here. Guys like Cambiaso, I guess. Jorginho still, I don't know. Locatelli, Fratesi, yes. Foloruncio, I don't know. I think Bove's got to be in this mix. Bonaventura, that's surprising. So if you're going to tell me that Bonaventura's in the squad and El Shaarawy's not, that's very surprising. Very, I don't know, because Bonaventura there is older. How old is he? Like 35? Bonaventura. I gotta fact check myself here. 34. So he's actually a year older than me. Interesting. Barella, yeah, out of that midfield 3, it's probably going to be something like Locatelli as the holding mid. But there's no true defensive mid here, though, unless Foloruncio is that guy. Pellegrini with Barella. That's your starting 3, I'm pretty sure. So Fratesi not the starter. Not just yet. I think he's a great player, but not just yet. Not over the form that Pellegrini is in. We'll keep going on here, though. Maybe it is dietary. Disappointed, too. Me too, Dramaticus. Vincent says, I think Pellegrini should start with Chiesa behind a striker. Interesting here. So would you go 4-2-3-1 with Pellegrini in the hole, Chiesa out on the left, and then a striker? Or what would you do here, Vincent? I'm interested to hear. And yeah, very strange. Calafiori also gets snubbed on that one. Pellegrini, best Italian player at the moment, Vincent says. Do I agree? Yeah, I do. I think it's a great call. It's a phenomenal call. He's the most informed. Today we got to see, if we go to Juventus's match, I'm going to jump over there real quick. Juventus. I want to take a look at that lineup that Allegri had today against Genoa. And something's going to surprise you here. So on paper, you think that this is going to be excellent. You've got Cambiaso out on the right, McKennie, who's been informed, Locatelli, Miretti, Kostic up top, Vlahovic, Chiesa, And then they've even got the young Turkish player Yildiz in there, and he gets in. And you're thinking, how could any team not win when you have this type of setup? But Allegri does, and he draws against Genoa. So I don't know what's going on with that. So like, part of me wants to say Chiesa is the best Italian at the moment, but not at the moment. He's maybe the best pedigreed Italian player, current player right now. But I think that's a great call by Vincent, and I would agree with him that Pellegrini is the best Italian player at the moment. What's up, Dachi? How are you, man? Yeah, Calafiori also snubbed, as we mentioned. Any interesting Primavera players coming through? I think that the one we should keep our eye on is Joao Costa, and this kid has been playing. He got a few minutes. He's 18 years old, Brazilian, 5'10" already. He's really a right back or a right wing back, and I think this is definitely the guy. He's the next wave. I want to see him keep getting time under De Rossi. So we'll see what happens with that. But I do want to jump back to the match today. We'll go back to some statistics. We'll probably show up some heat maps too. But as we look at the what do we got here? The standings. Sorry, it's been a long weekend. Anyway, very, very busy at home, guys. If you have children, just be prepared. Be prepared that life gets really intense very quickly. But yeah, I do want to go to these heat maps real quick. So let me navigate over there. Bear with me 1 second. And keep those comments coming in, please. We'll look at this. What do we got? Sassuolo. I can share this. Here we go. Okay, cool. So let's see. Roma somewhat focused in the center of the pitch there, but I want to see, out of these touches, I want to see who's doing the most. I'm going to say Paredes. Yeah, we could have guessed that. Let's take him away. Let's go Pellegrini, where he's occupying. So we spoke about this, right? He's kind of like this 8.5 in the sense that if he's occupying this area here, the big green blob, that's because he's shifting. He's perhaps receiving the ball closer to the end line, or I should say the touch line, and then moving in. And that's his movement. It's kind of like a diagonal tracing back and forth for him there. That seems to be his game. Compared to Awar, yeah, not too much. Nothing crazy today. I'm going to bet that, okay, Cristante, you could see him hanging back more compared to now if we pop in Pellegrini. So that just shows you, while we see a 4-3-3 on paper, once we add in Pellegrini, now I'm going to remove Cristante, you could see how he plays more forward. Now, if you add Paredes within that too, it shows you that this 4-3-3 is really a bit more involved when it goes offensively. Now, like we see actually 33 touches within a half hour for Spinazzola here. So this goes back to what we were saying in the very beginning of this episode, that I think he had a good game. And Karsdorp definitely up there a bit more. Okay. Let's keep going. What else do we got today, guys? Let's go over the De Rossi press conference and see what he had to say. What do we got? De Rossi. Actually, we got some words here from Pellegrini. This is what I was looking for. So let's go over that and see if we get anything else. All right, whatever. Let's look at these comments from Pellegrini. He says, "It is only right for a team that wants to improve and get up the table to fight to the end. We knew that we had to win at all costs, whereas in Florence, we were considering how things were going. It was important to at least not lose." Then it's written here. After the goal, there was a run to hug De Rossi on the touchline. Safe to say that Pellegrini is a player reborn, especially compared to how he struggled under Mourinho's tenure. Now 6 goals, 3 assists in just 13 games under De Rossi. And he continues. He says, "Daniele has always been a reference point for me, even when we were teammates. I was fortunate enough to experience him as a teammate and a coach, so I hope he's enjoying the experience of coaching me. I think that I need to feel free in the midfield." We spoke about him being liberated, right? Having a much looser role. "To find my own way, discover where the spaces open up, and follow those opportunities. I think that is what I have been lacking in the last year and a half." We know that at this level, just like last season, all the teams in the draw are strong. This is talking about the Europa League. Either way, it was going to be tough. We will prepare and try everything to reach the next phase. Milan are a strong side, but we should believe in ourselves too. By the way, not forgetting to talk about that. I'll be discussing with Martino Puccio as well as Matt Santangelo on some type of stream coming soon. We'll coordinate throughout the week, whatever. Anything else, though? I wanted to get these De Rossi comments. I don't think they've been translated yet. And I think I have to go back and do some translations later tonight and see what's worth it and what's not. Because a lot of times it's just like a huge transcript and it's not always like most interesting. But let's look back to the comments, guys, see what we're going on. Nothing yet. Guys, let me know what you think about the match as well, as we're drawing upon almost a half hour now. We're going to go until the 30-minute mark. Keep those comments coming in. We'll see what else we've got coming on. What else we've got coming in as well right now. This was a great picture from the Curva Sud. Top representation today. I don't know if it was a sellout. If it was, it would be like almost the 60th sellout since 2022. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay. Yeah, like we said, Pellegrini, 6 goals, 3 assists since he became coach. And what else we got? Maybe you saw some of those. I don't know if I can get copyrighted for this. I'm going to stop it real quick. Some of those scenes from Palermo were unbelievable in Serie B as I just scroll through this real quick. That stuff from the stands, we need them back in Serie A. We need a Sicilian team back, man. Like, it's been sorely missed. I remember some great battles down in Sicily, Catania, in the Sicilian derby between them and Palermo. Look, Catania is like in Serie D. That city is a mess. I was there a year and a half ago. It doesn't seem like the type of place that could support a Serie A team. But if they did, if they could get it organized and free of corruption, then it could be quite the place to have a Serie A team, because it's madness out there. And those were some great derbies back in the day. Joe says, "When I just noticed Juve's schedule, I think they might drop out of top 4. Let's take a look at that, Joe. Juventus schedule. Share this instead. Oh boy. That's not looking great for Juve. Lazio next, and then Lazio in the Coppa semi, then Fiorentina, then Torino, Derby della Mole, Cagliari, okay, then Lazio again, then Milan, then Roma, then Salernitana, then Bologna, then Monza. Wow, that is, I don't know if Max Allegri survives this season, man. Yikes. Oh, I hope Milan beats them right close to my birthday. That would be great. It's funny because for me, I did not grow up in Rome, so I don't feel Lazio the same way that I feel Juventus. Because when I was growing up, what was going on was Juventus were cheating, and I was 14 years old, and I was watching Serie A, wondering and getting so upset because I would see these obvious offsides calls and goals called back. I was like, "What is going on? This is ridiculous. How do they keep getting so lucky?" It wasn't luck. It was far from luck for Juventus. So for me, I feel Juventus so much more strongly. I really I'm trying to I'm trying to stay, what's the word? Not aggressive. Not like, I don't want to go over the top, but I really dislike Juventus. And I'm going to stop it there. Spinazzola, okay. I haven't gotten anything from him. So let's see real quick. Any news, anything coming up? No, nothing crazy, nothing substantial right now. I'm going to assume that was a hamstring sprain or something. If not De Rossi, which coach would you choose? Malta's the man of the hour, right? Xabi Alonso is going to go probably to Real Madrid once Ancelotti leaves. I could see that. Or maybe Barcelona jump in for him. I don't know. He's going to go somewhere big. Maybe he goes to Arsenal if Arteta leaves. That's a possibility too for that situation. Not Italiano, because I just read that Italiano is going to leave Fiorentina at the end of the season. What if I had to think of the perfect coach for Roma? It would be De Rossi, just more experienced. And I think that if we give De Rossi the right amount of time and we take that pressure off him of having to succeed in this very next season and keep building for him, I think De Rossi is smart enough and wise enough as a coach, even at a young age, to repay that. You think of some of the great coaches, and they don't even have big locker room experience until they've actually done it. Mourinho, who we're going to bring him up because he was one of the most, if not the most winning European manager, was not a great footballer. This is not somebody who was in the locker rooms like Zidane was, let's say, and then became a coach. So De Rossi has that advantage while still being a tactician. I do think he is a brain. Is he there just yet? Are his principles ironed out? Not exactly. So to get to your point, Martin, I don't know if I would go abroad. I would try to go with Xabi Alonso if Roma could. If there's situations happen where coaches just don't have, there's not mobility. If you could say, oh, he's going to be Madrid's next coach. If Carlo Ancelotti retires, if he leaves, if he goes somewhere else, if Barcelona fire their manager, if such and such and such. If it comes to the point where there's no opportunities and Roma come knocking with a big salary, or I should say like a healthy salary, a fair one, maybe Xabi Alonso, because I think that I think he's the best manager out there right now as far as the up and comers. But Malta is also really impressive, and I like his tactics. So between the two of them, like those are the two obvious hot names right now. But we'll see where Maurizio Sarri goes. I still think he's a good manager. It's not going to be Rome. That's a really good question. Maybe it's Ancelotti. If they decide that they're not going to go with De Rossi long term, Ancelotti comes in, that would be very interesting too. He's always said he wants to come back. So Palermo is not doing too good, Germanicus. If we look at the Serie B standings, they just lost the other day against Venezia, and they are in 5th place. So they're probably going to go to a playoff come season's end in about 8 fixtures from now, where they'll have to face anybody from Venezia down to Catanzaro. I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or actually possibly even down to Sampdoria. They'll go in that playoff, but I would love to see them get back. Venezia in pretty good form. So Parma look like they're going to get automatically promoted back. So their owner's actually from the Midwest. Kraft. I forget his first name. Josh says he loved the Catania elephant logo. Yeah, they had bankruptcy. They had some issues with their ownership. I think Joe Tacopino, who owns Spa, was going to get involved with them and then saw like these books are a mess, which is not a surprise at that club. So yeah, the elephant's very cool. Actually, I went to like their town hall where they have a couple statues of elephants. Let's see what happens. I'm not so sure about the Dybala injury. It could be a nagging ligament. It's what I'm going to assume because that's followed him throughout the past like 8 years. But back to that derby, one more game. So we got the international rest, one more match, I think, against Lecce, right? And then it's on to the derby coming soon, April 7th. Yeah, in Lecce, in the Salento, as they say. Bologna looks so good and deserves a winning season. Yeah. Bologna would embarrass Italy in the Champions League. Yeah, true. I think they should aim for Europa League and or the Conference League. Plus, they're going to have to pay their players almost. No, I think Vincent, we've talked about this like in our WhatsApp group, right? I do think that it's going to be a fire sale. And like you said, they're going to get embarrassed in the Champions League if they succeed, if they go that far, which I think they will at this point. They're going to get 5th place at the least. I think Roma have a great chance to leapfrog them. But long term, yeah, it's not Bologna. They don't have the ownership. They don't have the intent. They don't have the infrastructure either. They're not going to be around long term as a big dog. They'll have a good season or two. Maybe next year's just as good. Hopefully they revitalize, or I should say, reinvest in the right way following Xerxes' sale. But TBD. I'd love to see Venezia back in Serie A just for the kids. Yeah, we could take a boat to their stadium. That just is such a cool, unique thing. Like the way that you hop on the Vaporetto and then arrive at the stadium itself. Vaporetto. I want to show you guys before we sign off. I want to show you the ultras because a couple of years ago they were throwing. I think it was like 2 years ago. Yeah, here it is. Awesome. They were throwing the flares off of the Vaporetto at each other. This is when Milan came. That's absolutely brilliant. It's something you only see in Italy. But yeah. Actually, you made me think of speaking of that logo, my buddy Richard just posted the old logos of the 80s, and they're just super cool. Speaking about vintage stuff, I'm trying to see if I could find it. I posted it on my Instagram story. It's Wayne in Rome, but you'll see like Avellino. I think this one's my favorite. Let's see if it pops up. It's like, yeah, here we go. The little wolf, because they're the Lupi as well, the wolves. That's a cool one. But yeah, back to this. Get Venezia back in Serie A for sure. They just started a program with NYU too, where you can like go over to Venice and work for them or intern for a period of time. Same, Morin. Absolutely. I would love to see Calafiori back. There's a lot of emphasis on Huijsen and trying to get him from Juventus, but I think that the real player that Roma should be thinking about is their own. I like to see everybody coming home to roost, kind of. They're all see back, and these players who were great or can be great and make something amazing out of all that. Guys, thank you very much for coming on today. We get to celebrate. It's a nice Roma win heading into the international break, some good momentum, some good rest coming our way. And I will be at the stadium in New Jersey next Sunday. Let me know if you're going to be there as well. Remember to throw a like, spread it on socials, and we will talk soon. Thank you guys very much. Well, Packer's not here, but bye, Germanicus. Bye, everybody. Nice seeing you. Thanks again.